This video will have spoilers for the Fallout TV show. So a lot of people online are actually raging pretty hard about the ending of the show because they think it decanonizes New Vegas and they think it completely destroys the NCR. And I kind of wanted to kind of go over the points and kind of present them in like a, I don't know, non-biased or hateful way. I 100%ed New Vegas like back in 2018. I think I first played it in 2013. I've probably played that game for 500 hours. It is my favorite game of all time. So I'm coming from the perspective of a dude who loves New Vegas. And I think it makes sense. So I'll go sort of point by point here and go one at a time and take them on. One of the major points people are making online is about the destruction of Shady Sands. And they're basically saying once the destruction of Shady Sands happens, the NCR gets wiped out. And that's just not true. The show doesn't say that at all. And in fact, it kind of makes sense because the NCR in New Vegas are pretty much desperate. Every quest is like, hey, we don't have enough soldiers. We don't have enough men. We don't have enough munitions. We don't have the firepower to do this. And people seem to think that Shady Sands was like the capital of the NCR. But the destruction of Shady Sands does not mean that the NCR was destroyed. In fact, it makes New Vegas just all that more desperate because the fact that Shady Sands is destroyed, they now need to take New Vegas. It's now more desperate. And people are saying, hey, like, I mean, I haven't really seen any dialogue about Shady Sands in the game. And Bethesda and Obsidian are usually pretty intentional about keeping like things vague about other areas. So like you kind of like briefly hear about other areas, but never all that much in the games. And that's intentional so that they can kind of use those later on. Or you'll hear like about like a DLC area. Like I think, you know, so there's like some lines about Big MT that NPCs might have that were in the game before, you know, the Big MT came out. That whole DLC. And so, yeah, I don't really think it decanonizes it. I think it just makes the whole situation with the NCR that much more desperate. If people can like show me dialogue or like lore inconsistencies online, like if they like actually like give me like a screen cap or like a video or like a, I don't know, yeah, something like that where like they actually kind of like prove it, then, you know, we can consider this point invalid. But yeah, I don't think the NCR is destroyed. I think they're still alive and well. I think we'll see more of them in Season 2. So people seem to think that the whole faction in the final episode, they seem to think that that is the NCR. And I just don't really think that's the case because the show never outright refers to them as the NCR. They have the flag, but it seems more like a military junta type thing where it's just kind of remnants of the local military that kind of militialized. I don't know if that's an actual term, but they kind of formed a militia, and then that's what's kind of running the government. I don't think they're like an official part of the NCR. I think it's more like a sub-faction, like a military junta or something like that. I think I used that word twice. I didn't just learn it last Tuesday, okay? I've known that word since high school. But, yeah, I don't think it's actually the NCR in the show because they probably would have outright stated it. Maybe they're avoiding talking about any of the other factions until Season 2. But we just kind of have to wait and see. So another thing is that people seem to think New Vegas is completely destroyed. And I'm going to say just outright, I don't think that's true. Now, in the final end credits, there's like little artwork that they play, and it shows Vegas being destroyed. But that's actually kind of similar to what it looks like in the games. Like, I remember my first playthrough of New Vegas. I tried to get in New Vegas. I couldn't figure out the way in. Because I had just ran through Deathclaw Valley. I had spent 3 hours running through Deathclaw Valley on my first playthrough. And so there's all these like huge piles of trash that they kind of like use as a wall and shit. Like near the walls and stuff. So like I don't think that it's actually destroyed. I think that maybe it could have been a tease to where like they're trying to show us like, I don't know, they're maybe trying to make us think one thing or another. But I don't actually think the end credits artwork like is actually proof that the thing is ending. I know there's like that NCR crashed bird there, but I think that that's just kind of concept art. I don't think that actually delegitimizes or says New Vegas was destroyed. I actually think that since, you know, spoilers, by the way, you were already warned of this, since the dad is at New Vegas, I think that there's probably people there and there's probably civilizations. Like, you guys remember, it wasn't fucking, I'm trying to remember what, Freeside, that fucking area. That whole area looked like shit. People are like, oh, well, you know, like, it should look better. It's like, no, that's how it looked. And I saw some people also talking about the fact that the NCR farms aren't there. And I guess, like, my explanation for that is because video game. Because they have to pull everything closer than it would actually be. But another explanation is that in one of the quests, I think it's the one where it's like about the water pump in Freeside. You do talk to like farmers and stuff, and they do say that they're not able to really turn a profit because of the fact that the Freeside people are siphoning their fresh water to grow crops. So that whole farm could have also been destroyed. That could have been the canon ending to that specific quest, right? Where the person sides with Freeside and the people keep getting the legitimate water, and then the NCR sharecroppers aren't able to turn a profit, and then they leave, right? But yeah, I think New Vegas isn't destroyed. I think that was just some concept art. I think we'll definitely see more of it in the next season. The whole ending of New Vegas is essentially, at least the NCR ending, is essentially like telling Legate Lanius that, hey, like, this isn't viable to hold Vegas and this faction, right? You basically convince him by saying, hey, like, you're going to be able to get New Vegas in a few years just because the NCR is so stretched out thin with all the land they cover. So I think that kind of applies here. I think that, you know, they got stretched out too thin or something like that. It makes sense, right? The whole ending of the whole ending of the game is about, hey, you're going to be able to take it in like 4 to 5 years. So now it's 15 years, and we'll have to see. And I see some people like complaining that there was no Caesar's Legion. And so I think we'll probably see that in the next season. I think they were probably waiting until season 2 to show us like some of this Vegas stuff. And you actually, like, you have to give the guys a break too, because it's really hard to show this area and then also not decanonize everything, or like not like you have to pick an ending. And I guess Todd Howard was basically like, yo, yeah, you can't pick an ending. Like all endings still need to be referred to as canon. So you have to, I think there's definitely going to be like some challenges that they encounter in season 2. But I think that the Caesar's Legion and I think the NCR, I think they're still alive. I think they're still in there. I think they're just waiting until season 2 to show us this. Because in season 1, there's kind of a lot of factions already. And there's kind of like the whole plot of like Vault-Tec and stuff like that. I feel like if you just included like Caesar's Legion and the NCR on top of that, it would probably overwhelm new viewers. So I think that they were actually waiting until season 2 to do that so that they could kind of like keep building the world for like new viewers and people of the show that like haven't played the games without overwhelming them. Because if there's like the Brotherhood, the NCR, Vault-Tec, there's all that other stuff going on. Caesar's Legion and the NCR wouldn't really be super relevant towards that type of plot they were trying to write, at least for season 1. So it doesn't really make sense to add the NCR and Legion and confuse the new viewers unless you could do it like in the next season, because by the next season it'll be like, what, a year or 2? Hopefully it's not 2 years like fucking Invincible was, but if it's 2 years, people will kind of be able to stew on it a little bit more, and they'll be able to sort of like, you're able to spoon feed them a little bit more information, right? And you're able to introduce larger chunks of information and have people retain it. And I think that's like a huge challenge that they will probably have to overcome. And I think that's the main reason that they weren't in this season. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is all just heavy cope? I took some heavy copium today with my sparkling water / LaCroix. Or do you guys think I'm valid? Either way, doesn't really matter. If you guys have any like evidence or like actually like refutes in the comments, like I'll probably like heart the comment if it's like got like a solid background, I guess, or if there's something I didn't consider or something I missed. But yeah, hey, you guys all take care of yourselves. See you all later. Bye-bye.